It's okay. Let me send you the links now. We are live, I think. We are live now. Let me send you the links.
When you share the links and I share them. Hello. When you share the link and I share them, please, you let me know when we are ready and then we can start. Thank you.
Hello, you're welcome. See how many people are online, then you can start. Okay, let me start with the introduction, then you can begin.
Mumin, guys, seriously, I want to join here. They are in my inbox disturbing me.
Hello, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello to the world. I hope you are all fine and good. My name is Mu'min Jafar, the head of IT department at the Nile University of Science and Technology. We are here in to talk about cybersecurity challenges of the future. And with me, there is a professor who is also going to be introducing himself. We're going to be going through the cybersecurity umbrella, like complete ways, how the cybersecurity was some years back, how it is now, and where we are going. How did it start? How is it going to be in the future? So we are going to cover up everything related to cyber security. Please allow me to introduce to you Professor to also come in and give out his introduction and then start up our today's conference. Thank you so much.
You are welcome, Engineer Mu'min Jafar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm very much privileged and honored and humbled at the same time to be part of this noble discussion, an intellect discussion, a discussion that calls for brains like these to have the world move in a better direction. You see, cybersecurity presently is a hot cake. It has become a challenge to a big number of emerging organizations. And of present, as I talk, very many organizations, multinational, small media, national, name it, are deploying a five-star cybersecurity infrastructure to have business continuity. I am called Kada. Some people say AKA, also known as, but my name is Choribona Nakir. I happen to be an ICT consultant, an ICT expert. I deal majorly in cyber related and information security and management. Anything to do with information security, anything to do with the networks and information security, that is my area. Sometimes when I'm speaking information security, when I'm speaking cyber, I am just happy that I'm sharing knowledge of what I am best at. Well, like somebody said before, today we are going to be sharing knowledge. I'm not ultimate when it comes to knowledge. Knowledge that is good is that is shared. And knowledge is, there is no monopoly on knowledge, on understanding. It doesn't belong to just a single human being or person. It is a vast of brains that come up with something that we can call super. So today we are going to be sharing something to do with cyber security challenges of the future. On this fifth international conference on cyber security. Mr. Mumin, Bwana Engineer, I guess I am clear. Can I please
You are
continue?
you are so much clear enough, please. Go on.
Okay, thank you and
Don't
thank you.
don't forget to share, please.
No, I'm there. I'm there. I think there it is shared. Is it shared there?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Yes.
is shared.
Yeah, I'm going to share at an opportune time. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many may be streaming live, but how I wish you see this live classroom or boardroom, I would say, or studio, in most cases, does not show you the number of those people streaming live. But how I wished was interactive, and we move on like that, in that manner. But we are going to continue, inshallah. I'm trying to share these links with one or two persons who would wish to be part of this discussion. Maybe they can be contributors in the near future to this same discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by,
Buena Professor,
like, yes, please.
we are having 20 people live on Facebook at the moment, and then around 12 people on YouTube. So I think we can start up.
The quorum is okay. We can move with that, I think, as others keep joining us. I would also infer, Engineer Mumin, I'd also infer that in the event we keep getting members coming through, kindly go ahead and update us. You keep updating us that we are now this number, and it gives us momentum to push on. Is that okay?
Good. Yeah, it is.
Okay. Meanwhile, shall I ask you, please, Mr. Mumin, please, shall I ask you to take on the introduction again, because I'm very much sure that when you are introducing or starting this live discussion, a good number of members had not yet joined. So how I wish you went again for 2 minutes and did a preamble of the whole of this, and then we catch it from there and move on. Thank you. I submit.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let's, like I had said before, that my name is Mu'min Jafar, and I'm head of ICT department at Nile University of Science and Technology. I have mastered in information technology and a postgraduate in system administrations. So today's conference is all about cybersecurity challenges of the future. But our main focus, we want to take cybersecurity as a whole. Like, we are going to talk about everything about cybersecurity. We well know that cybersecurity is what the world is on right now. This is where the world is going. And it is very much like a right for every person, no matter which part of department you're from, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a doctor, whether you are a politician, or whether you're what, you need to know information about cybersecurity, because today you may not be a victim, but tomorrow you might be. So if you get the information, the wholesome information about cybersecurity, this would be good for you. And today, this is what we are going to be presenting with Professor Nakir Choribona. So for any questions that you would like to be answered, you can write into the comments. Those on live Facebook, you can post your questions. Those on YouTube live, still you can also post your comments, and then we see how the professor is going to mitigate or find out the answers to those particular questions where possible. Otherwise, Professor, I would like us to begin, because we are time bad, and we have a lot of people who are already lined listening to what is going to be presented today. So, Professor, I would like you to come in and start our today's conference. Thank you so much.
You are much welcome. I guess everyone can view my screen. Moderator, please. Is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible and your handsome face is fully seen.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me welcome you once again. It is not bad manners, I would say, because this happens quite often. Let me welcome you to this fifth international conference on cyber security. I would like really not to speak much, but I'm going to give, I think, the whole insight using my presentation. As earlier said by Engineer Jafar Mumin, I am going to be taking us through the cybersecurity challenges of the future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, okay, please, somebody is saying, excuse me, listen. Okay, that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether if somebody came up today and talked about cyber security, what runs into your mind? Because when you talk of cyber, there are a lot of people that think otherwise. Cyber, people think otherwise. And when you talk of cyber security, it also creates another, it looks like a bigger thing. But in the normal sense, I want us today to come up and understand together what cyber security entails. Like I was introduced before, these are my names, and this is what I have labored to study. I've done a Master's of Science in Networks and Information Security Management. I have done a Master's degree in Management Studies. I've done a postgraduate diploma in Information Security Management. I've done a diploma in Information Technology. I've done a bachelor's in education. I have done certification in information security as an officer, and I have done certification in information security as an information security manager. There are many more others that I have done, and only that I've not labored to share with you here. Ladies and gentlemen, let us go through our objectives of today. By the time we come to the end of this paper, a participant, somebody out there, you should be able to explain a cyber threat. What is a cyber threat? You should also be able to trace the history of cyber. We have talked of cyber. Where did cyber start? How did it start? How in the first years was there cyber? Is it just the latest innovation? We shall also, by the end of today, be able to trace the history of cyber security. We also need to appreciate and gain appreciation on the trends in cybersecurity. As if that's not enough, our bone of contention today is to have an insight on cyber security of the future. Cyber security of the future. Therefore, without wasting time, I want to go through the preamble or introduction today. Ladies and gentlemen, the word cyber originally from the beginning, comes from a Greek word, kubanitos. That word you see there, kubanitos, this is initially is what cyber was called. This word means, or it meant, seeing, piloting, steering, kubanitos. It then picked a modern way and started to be called cyber, to mean a virtual edge, virtual, something there but you can't see, virtual, virtual. In other words, if I say that today we live in a cyber age, I mean an age of computers, of virtual reality, of information technology. That is the cyber age. And hey, trust me there, that you cannot live in an age of virtual reality, an age of information technology, an age of computers and network, and you fail to have cyber crimes, and you fail to practice cyber security against the cyber crimes. So cybersecurity began in the early 1970s when a researcher called Bob Thomas, this gentleman called Bob Thomas, came up and designed a computer program called the Creeper. Now, that Creeper always ran on the ARPANET. The ARPANET, by the way, let me go out of that. The ARPANET was an organization called the American Research Project Network. ARPANET, American Research Project Network. Initially, the internet was called the ARPANET. But as we went on changing trends, it was changed from ARPANET to Internetwork, which is presently the Internet Network. So a creeper always ran on the ARPANET. Now, this gentleman came up with a creeper. It was not even in his plan that it would affect computers. But there was an early digital equipment corporation that had mainframe computers called the PDP. There was PDP-4, PDP-6, PDP-10, and their latest then was PDP-10. And by then, the PDP-10, remember, a PDP-10 is a computer server of an organization, a company called the Digital Equipment Corporations. Now, the Creeper was run on the PDP mainframe computer, a server machine. And by the way, without noticing, the Creeper became a challenge. It became a problem. It messed up connected teletypes of computer screens. It caused mayhem. It displayed funny messages. Look at the message. It displayed a message like, I am a creeper. Catch me if you can. Now, we want to see the origin of how cyber came into play. A creeper was a computer virus, computer program designed, but later, I think it must have been a failed program, because failed programs normally sometimes are used by cyber criminals to launch their attacks. So the creeper failed, and when it failed, it instead impacted on the PDP negatively. So it would display something like, I am a creeper, catch me if you can. Then we say, although various people claim to have created their first antivirus programs, around 1987 marked the beginning of the commercial antivirus programs with the release of the Antivirus 4 and the Flash Plus. These were the first early antiviruses. The Digital Equipment Corporation, the PDP, was at tenterhooks on how to have the unintended issue resolved. Bob the maker of the Creeper did not intend to affect the computers. But now the organization gets issues and they try to look by all means and make sure that they come up with a solution to the Creeper computer program. This, ladies and gentlemen, saw the birth of cyber and cybersecurity, an attack and how to mitigate the attack. So we should also know that cybercrime, these are crimes that involves computers and computer networks. Cyber attacks, these are offensive maneuvers, maneuver tactics, okay, that target computing devices and information systems. Cybersecurity is the protection of internet connected systems such that hardwares, softwares, and data from cyber threats cannot affect them. That is cybersecurity, what the world is battling basically. It can also be providing a good security posture against malicious attacks designed to access, to alter, to delete, to destroy, to extort any organizations or user systems of sensitive data. Those are databases. A cyber threats a possibility of malicious attempt. A possibility, a threat can be a possibility of a malicious attempt or to disrupt a computer network or computer system. That is a definition from the Cyber Dictionary. You can Google, you can go to libraries, the Cyber Dictionary is there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since the 1970s, 1980s, viruses, gentlemen and ladies harassed so much organizations, okay? Because there was no clear regulation. There was no regulation. There was no law. There was no rule on these victims, on the perpetrators of cyber security. So countries came, okay? In the early 90s, government, multinational organizations, small enterprises, and far as individuals became victims of cyber crimes. This was so because, like I said earlier, there was no clear sanction to offenders or perpetrators of cyber. Now, on 8th of November in 2001, a committee of ministers in the European Council passed the first ever known mutual treaty, a law and agreement on cyber. This was called the Budapest Convention on Cyber. Ladies and gentlemen, the Budapest Convention was called Budapest because it was signed in Budapest. This was opened for signatures in Hungary on 23rd of November in 2001. So after coming up with the law, they said, hey, countries, nations that had been affected before, can you be signatories to this convention, to this treaty, to this bilateral agreement, so that we can agree that any perpetrator of a cybercrime, any cyber criminal can be handled in this form, in this way. So we got a law into play. 67 countries came up and signed. And as we speak right now, the Budapest Convention has over 95 member countries in the world. All the sovereign states of the United Kingdom, the Europe, the 44 states are signatories to it. The 50 United States of America states are signatory to it. Actually, in the beginning, only 48 countries in the US were signatories. But when Alaska joined the USA and Hawaii joined the USA, they also became signatories to the Budapest Convention. It is still in force up to date. We also have Philippines, Canada, some examples in Africa, South Africa, is also a member of that convention. Now, the major objective, ladies and gentlemen, of the convention, of the agreement, of the treaty, was to address internet and computer crime by harmonizing a law, bringing together a law which law would address the cyber crimes. That was the major intention of that law. That was the Cyber Budapest Convention. What are the end goals? Today, every organization, any company, any individual who will put cybersecurity in play, by all means, they must be following the three principles. They are protecting three things: confidentiality, the integrity, and availability. This trade is used to guide and inform policies of information security. The CIA trade, the confidentiality, availability, and integrity. Of the three, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this: confidentiality is the most important. If you are saying no today, you rather have information about me in its original form and you keep it to yourself without releasing it to anyone, without destroying it, keeping it confidential. The rest you may compromise on, but confidentiality is very important. Now, whereas the CIA exists, precision in security, direction that we are taking in security requires that any data must be of context. It must be of correlation. It must be of cohesion. Correlation, it must have comparable sequences of activities based on a set of rules. You cannot have information from nowhere. It is not possible. That's why we are saying that the three C's are those ones of information security. Then, data must be of context. It must look at the surrounding. It must look at a particular cyber risk. You cannot come up and you're mitigating nothing. There must be context. What are you trying to mitigate? It must be, of course, a causal approach, etc. On the contrary, ladies and gentlemen, what we call the contrary of CIA, if you say confidentiality, if you don't keep something confidential, you disclose it. Okay? If we talk of integrity, if you don't keep something to yourself in its original state, you change it, you alter. If you say availability of something, if you don't keep it readily available, you have distorted, you have destroyed it. And therefore, our major categories of cyber crimes, we are going to speak about cyber crimes, cyber security, cyber, but it rotates around these three. One, crimes against people, the humans, crimes against property, and money intention, target three things: people, property, and government. We can also ask ourselves, which languages do these cyber criminals use? Remember, we said, like Engineer Jafar Moomin said, we're gonna gain an insight of cybersecurity in its totality. How the hell did it start? How did it start? We've seen where it started. We've looked at intentions. We've looked at, if we have cybersecurity, is there a law? Yes. A law was put in place to handle cyber criminals, perpetrators of cybersecurity. Now, as we continue to see cybersecurity in the past, we shall look at it in the present and then go to the future. And I can tell you that these are some of the languages that cyber experts, criminals use, perpetrators: Java, JavaScript, Python, SQL, that is sequential query language, PHP, etc. And then the PowerShell, and then the C, C++. These are programming languages. These people master these languages. We may not go into detail of this, but these are programming languages, some of which are at almost all these the first generation languages: the Java, JavaScript, Python, first generation languages. Low generation languages, programming. It's not high generation, like where we have basic, where we have beginners all purpose. No, this is machine language, language understood by computers and less understood by user, unless they have gone through the shell of the platform of computer. Now, how do cyber attacks happen? This is important. Ask yourself, how do these attacks happen? These people are highly knowledgeable. Cyber attack is any action taken by criminals with malicious goals in mind. The cyber criminals launch their attacks using one or more computers to strike a number of computer or computer networks on the information system. So, how do they do this? A variety of methods can be, explored by these cyber attackers. Okay? But their major goal is to steal data. Their first method, what they use, is phishing. Phishing. The most common hacking technique today, when we shall be looking at cybersecurity in the past, then in the present, you realize that phishing consumes over 2 point something billion attacks. That is by the Cyber Hub. Cyber Hub is an organization which makes rankings and statistics of cyber security regarding the attacks. So phishing is the common hacking technique. All the inboxes, go to your inbox. Today, if you entered your email, there are some emails you find and you don't understand them. Open your spam. Huh? The tab of spam, the inbox, the outbox, what? Spam. You realize that there's a lot of email, some of which is not solicited. It is so unsolicited. Junk mails. All our inbox and text messages apps are filled with phishing messages daily. They come. Sometimes you sign to your Yahoo or Gmail or Y or Rocket Mail, and you realize you have 100 unread emails. Of the 100, only 2 are important. Only 2. These are messages that are disguiseful in nature, as either it is an organization contacting you, say Google, say Netflix, say Amazon, an organization contacting you. It can be a person that you know, it can be an individual, but my dear, these are tricks. They can be attachments. I personally found an email in my inbox, secret admirer. I was moved. Who is this one who admires me secretly? But it was a trick. Now you see, typically, they will inform you that someone has been trying to log on to your website and you should update your credentials, your information, your data on the website. They send you pop-ups in form of cookies and cache on the site, on the browser. And you look at them, and sometimes unknowingly, people take them, people select them, they launch them. They claim that there is a problem with an account or your payment. Those of you who pay online, it is very, very common today. The attacks are very common online. Three, they will ask you to confirm some of your personal information. That confirm, if you don't confirm, we shall log you off. Some of these are the tricks. Remember, you're looking at the tricks, the method that they use. Others will generate fake invoices. You look at this example. Look at that. That was a phishing email. Phishing email disguising to be Amazon. Somebody sends you your Amazon Prime membership is set to renew on January 16th, 2019. However, we have noticed that the information card associated with your Prime membership is no longer valid. Then they send you down and say, please, you come and update it. Click here and update it. And before you know, you select it and you are gone. Inform you that you are eligible to register for a state fund. A state fund. People want free monies these days. State House comes up and says, we are registering all those persons who will benefit from our fund. And people will register. People will come up with the link, register online. They have tricks. They will offer all sorts of free things. They will send you emails. Look at this one. Alan Dixon. Hi, Rose. Look at that email. In the event you go ahead and activate this link, you are installing either a spyware on your system, you are installing either a ransomware on your system, like we shall be seeing what is a ransomware, what is a spyware on your system, and before you know, you are hacked. And there is an incident being logged. How do hackers use to hack? How do hackers use to hack? Now, in the past, even presently, some methods still work. What is this that they use? You see, there's what we call botnets. The botnets, these are hijacked internet-connected devices. If I have my phone and somebody holds my phone ransom, okay? He has my IP address, internet protocol address, okay? He has proxy to the server I connect to. He has Wi-Fi connections, details. He has everything of my phone. And he holds this phone ransom. It means he has hijacked this mobile device. So, when they hijack it, they will install malicious codes on the phone. Okay? Because when they hijack, you are not in control of the phone. They are in control. So they can install there anything. They know that I connect my phone to the computer. And the time I connect this phone to the computer, or even on the phone, people use their phones to do everything. They are their mobile, handheld wallets, these ones. They can authorize the payment of mobile money here. They can authorize the payment of world remit here. They can transfer monies from my account to their mobile to any other account when they have details. So they can use botnets. A botnet is a hijacked device that they install malware and then can hack you. Let's continue. They use browser hijacks. Malware programs that modify web browser settings without the user permission. It redirects. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been browsing something on the internet? You type in, for example, google.com. It launches Google, but up on the search engine, you see it redirecting. It brings a different site. So these are browser hijacks. 3, denial of service attack. They render services inaccessible. This is also a method. It worked with the CIA in 2019 when Iran hacked onto their systems. It was an amazing one. It is launched against high-profile websites. Denial of service attack. High-profile websites. These are frequently reported by media. Media comes up and all over CNN, RT News, there are reports. that the CIA is not able to, get reach of their databases for reasons one or the other. This is secret service, etc. They use ransomware. Remember, we are looking at what methods do they use, or what kits, their hacking kits. Ransomware. A ransomware threatens to publish a victim's personal data or permanently blocks access unless a payment, which is called a ransom, is paid. Physically, somebody can go and kidnaps your kid, and then they say, call on this number if you want. They even leave a number. You come and call and say, hello, I am the father. How do I get access to my kid? Pay this amount of money on this account, or put this amount of money here, and you can get your kid. They are holding ransom the child. So most hackers hold computer systems at a ransom, and then they will ask the owners, the organizations, to pay them, and then they can release. etc. Others encrypt data. You get your phone, you find all your contacts are showing codes. You can't understand them. And somebody says, pay me if you want your phone decrypted. And when you pay, they send you a decryption key and say, use this key. You use it, your information comes again. That's an example of an encryption. Let's continue. They use rootkits. Rootkits are softwares. These ones are malicious. To them, they provide administrative privileges to access your computer. They cover up their presence. It's like somebody hiding behind something. That's a rootkit. We call it a rootkit. Users can be victims to this in most cases when they open spam mails carrying rootkits. These guys send you spam mails, but they attach their rootkits. And when you download and install, or when you open, you have installed, you've launched it. These are the techniques, the tactics they use. They use Trojans. I guess you understand the history of a Trojan and how a Trojan, a kind of virus, came to pick the name Trojan. These are codes that are attached on legitimate software. Some of you run them as patches, software patches. And as you want to patch a software, you install a Trojan. And the Trojan can stay on your computer for even a year. Yes, please, somebody is... okay, I can continue. Trojans. A Trojan, ladies and gentlemen, a Trojan can stay on, in the computer language, we call it a stealth or polymorphic virus. Polymorphic is something that changes with change. Look at a chameleon. A chameleon can change with the change of the environment. So you install a Trojan, it will keep in your computer and behave in the most known way to you that your computer has been behaving, but it is installed. All these are techniques, tricks that they use. They will use viruses. Criminals often place adverts, the ads containing malicious codes on legitimate websites, since all of us visit websites every day. These are very potential places for hijackers, for criminals, for cyber criminals. They go ahead and use worms. Worm is an acronym. Write once, read many. Worm. Write once, read many. If a worm is installed on your computer, if it gets access to your mobile device, it replicates itself. Sometimes you have a file, cybersecurity. Before you know, you have numerous files named cybersecurity, but you're not sure of which one is the right file. That is how a worm attacks. And now this is a mistake. When you go, because you're looking for your file to launch it, to open it, you want to use it. So you'll want to click and open on each of them up to when your right file opens. And before you know, Each that you click that is not the right file, you have clicked on a worm. It again keeps duplicating itself, replicating very many times onto the system. And before you know, it has eaten up your working space, working memory on phone. If you're on cloud, it has affected your cloud account, etc. What are the consequences of the cyber incidents? If you hear, for example, that a certain organization has been hacked, which consequences do they face? One, financial loss. Accept, refuse. When a cyber attack is successful on your organization, you have lost finances, whether you want or yes. There is no. Two, loss of productivity. Look at the downtown. Today you wake up, for instance, on the East African continent, look at a nation like Somalia. If a multinational organization like Hamoud, I'm very much sure all of you know Hamoud. If there is an incident, it had a cyber incident recent where they shot live the gentleman who hacked them. They were lucky that they got him. Had they not got him, they are not signatories to the Budapest. It doesn't allow killing, they execute. So look at an incident, what Hamoud does. If you wake up and Hamoud has been hacked, it can't access their databases. It can't access the file server. It can't access the email server. It can't access their SMS server. It can't access, and they cannot. What can they do? The production time will reduce. Their finances will dwindle. Reputation or damage. People will say, I think Hamoud these days has challenges. We can change to another telecom company. Why? These are consequences of cyber incidents. Cyber incidents. Legal liabilities. There are some clients who are clients, for example, to Hamoud Telecom, that will say, since our data was exposed, we are taking you to courts of law and you will pay for that. Why? We trusted you to host us and keep our data confidential. CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But before we know, our data was all over in the news. So they may take you to court and you pay expensively. Business continuity problems. Business continuity. When you have or suffer a cyber incident, can you come up within a short while? Do you have alternative methods that when the database of Hamoud was hacked, when a file server was hacked into, do you have an alternative that you can have business move on even when the other incident is being handled or fixed? That's business continuity. Let's continue. Then we can ask a question. Ladies and gentlemen, I know there are very many students all over the world, cyber experts tuning here. Is cybersecurity on demand? What would be your answer? Your guess is as right as mine. Cybersecurity is one of the most lucrative areas in the ICT world today. Cybersecurity. You will reach countries and they don't have cyber experts. They don't have forensic experts. There are very many developing countries in Africa today which do not have, they've never seen a cyber expert. Now imagine you're the only one in that country. You're the alpha and the omega. So I will say, yes, cybersecurity jobs are on a high demand, and the demand is expected to grow by 18% in the next 5 years. Cybersecurity field involves protecting computer networks and data from unauthorized access, use, or destruction. There are many different types of cybersecurity professionals with various level or skills. What are the most powerful cyber nations? in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, what are the most powerful? Can somebody guess? What are the most powerful cyber nations in the world today? Your guess may be as good as mine. Research by the Cyber Hub, International Cyber Hub, has it that USA, this is an amalgamation of 50 countries, but of the 50 countries, New York is leading. So USA is leading. In USA, you look at New York, you look at Washington, D.C., these have the best cyber hubs. China is the second, United Kingdom is the third, Russia is the fourth, Netherlands is the fifth, France, Germany, and of recent, from the Asian world, Iran joined them. What are the top 2022, and presently we are in April. What are the most common cyber threats, cyber security threats today, presently, and in a few months or year back? Cloud vulnerabilities have taken the lead. Now, I am explaining these cyber threats, cyber security threats that have, for the past 1 year up to present, posed a challenge to organizations, to nations, to business enterprises, to multinational businesses, companies, etc. Vulnerabilities in cloud. Cloud, ladies and gentlemen, is getting services, okay? Getting services of processor power, of hard disk space, of just one server computer serving a number of them. That's cloud. You get services and benefit from all this. For example, look at the Google Cloud services. Google, all of you must be having cloud accounts. Google has a server. Google is the known server in Africa now. If you go to the US, you will find Amazon. If you went to etc. But today, Google has a server, and it is on that server that all of us are hosted. Our contacts, you say, I have saved on my Google account. Let me download from my cloud. So the vulnerabilities in the cloud have become an oversight. Gaps or weaknesses in security. These vulnerabilities are exploited by cyber criminals who use them to gain unauthorized access to corporate accounts. If you woke up, all of you today, and you want to pick content, a number, a contact from your Google account, and you can't get it, and they tell you it is not available, you would suffer. 2, data breaches. A data breach is a security violation in which sensitive or protected or confidential data is copied and transmitted, viewed, changed, or destroyed, or stolen. That's a data breach. If I stole your phone or laptop and copied all the data there, I have violated it. That's a data breach. 3, risky hybrid remote work environments. Let me give you one simple example. I can be in Kampala here and connect to a computer in Mogadishu. I just need a few settings of Wi-Fi connection, of your internet connection, a few, and I will be connected. So hybrid remote working environments. Today, the world has run mad, and it is going to, even in the future, grow past that one. I sit here and I'm working, teaching in a university, lecturing. I sit and I'm streaming live. I'm submitting reports. I am etc. They have issues with their servers. and core switches and routers. I just tell them, give me access. When they give me access, I do the configurations just online. Remote work environments have become a big challenge today. The insider threat. The insider threat. Actually, in information security, we say that the biggest problem, the biggest threat to information security is the insider, the insider. Whereas an organization will set up their prolific information security structure, conduct trainings, use all controls, buy good firewalls like pfSense, one of the best firewalls, install it on any app, on servers. The insider, me working on them, I am the biggest threat, and quite often it is a challenge. 6, spear phishing. Spear phishing. You receive a call and somebody is claiming to be your boss and they want details of a system. But because you're not informed, you go ahead and give the details. Before you know, that is a trick, phishing. Business email compromise, BEC, a form of targeted phishing or spear phishing. Criminals target organizations and try to scam them out of money or even goods. Okay? Zero-day exploit. In 2014, I even gave that example here. Sony was hacked. Sony was hacked of data and money. And Sony is a world-known organization. Sony has products, over 10 products. TV sets, phones, utensils. Look at all those. And Sony as an organization, every gadget of theirs right now in the world, they have track of it. What has gone off the market, what has been put in use, they have track of it. But one day, they were exploited. And instead, the cyber world came up with a zero-day exploit term, and they called it #1 Sony zero-day attack. In one just single day, Sony could not trace their gadgets all over the world. And the owner is called Sony Matola, I think. Sony Matola put money that whoever comes up to fix this would be a beneficiary. That's how he came out of the issue. Advanced persistent threats. These are sophisticated, sustained cyber attacks in which an intruder establishes an undetected presence on a network in order to steal sensitive data over a prolonged period of time. In 2019, we had a lot of pulling ropes. Nations which were trying to come up and call themselves world superpower. Iran was among them. Whereas the USA, CIA, the Secret Service, had plans against Iran. Iran said, for us, we shall launch a cyber warfare. And what they did, they shut down CIA computers. But before shutdown, 2 hours, they were copying information which was worth 2 terabytes. Now just look at a file, a text file. How many files worth 2 terabytes will you have? Iran hacked onto CIA. Now, if the CIA can be hacked for sure, the Secret Service, then anyone can be hacked. And before USA knew, they were hacked. Now, how did they fix the persistent advanced threat? They shut down all the network. Actually, they say the first aid. I'm giving you this. The first aid of fixing an attack which you don't have knowledge of. Shut down, plug off the network cables, plug off the power cables and everything. And that's what they did. There was chaos in the State House. But it happened. So these are common attacks, advanced persistent threats. There were many others: ransomware, crypto hijacking, cyber threat attacks, state-sponsored attacks, malware, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, there are new trends today that are coming up in cybersecurity. Trends like artificial intelligence, the AI, have become very, very common. Trends like the 3D rendering. Because now, look at artificial intelligence, where a robot may analyze million events and identify very many types of threats within a second or a minute, which cannot be done with a human. I think this may, in one way or the other, mitigate the challenge in cybersecurity of the future, where we are going. Look at 3D rendering. 3D rendering, sit on your computer, come up with images, draw images on your computer, transform these images into computer generated, give them commands. Okay, that is 3D rendering. It is becoming very common. One of the known cyber research organization called the Cyber Clan, they made a research and came up with statistics. Their statistics said, you can go and read about their recent one of 2022 rather. They say in 2022, targeted ransomware were about 236.1 millions, and about 3,394,662 phishing attacks were registered. You can imagine. It means phishing and ransomware are the biggest. And they said roughly 2.8 billion malware attacks in 2022 were registered. These attacks cost companies cyber insurance and consumers millions of dollars. Now, look at companies. For example, a company like CVC, I think it is known in Somalia. The CVC is what was hacked under Hamoud. If you hacked them, it would cost them a lot to align their ICT infrastructure, cybersecurity infrastructure. They can even choose to use whites, Indians or Chinese or something, but they are spending. They can even choose to put an insurance company, okay, and pay a premium of cyber security. So insurances and other expenses were very common in 2022. In 2023, presently, and other subsequent, the coming years, these trends will continue and new ones will rise. That is why it is important that companies deploy preventive measures against emerging and existing cyber threats. While studying the history, while looking at the historical data, risk assessments, and post-breach reports, I really identified that emerging cyber threats and provided how we prepare and protect against them matters a lot. As we cross now, we've seen the present, we've looked at the future and how it started. We're now crossing to the future of, we've looked at the past and the present. We're now crossing to the future of cybersecurity. Given all the past challenges in cyber, the cyber world, as a researcher, my prediction of the future, therefore, will cover 6 themes where I think cybersecurity and challenges of the future shall rotate. Remember, our topic is cybersecurity challenges of the future. Of the future. So they are going to be in 6 themes. And the first theme, the old players are here to stay. The old players don't have where they are going. They are here to stay. Theme number 1. Theme number 2, cybercrimes as a service is on a rise. Theme number 3, new technologies are so vulnerable. We are going to 5G now. Countries are rolling out 5G. It is so vulnerable, much as it provides a very strong firewall for hackers. 4, automotive and space technology hacks. Lastly, rise in cloud infrastructure attacks and rise in cyber warfare. That is where the future is going to rotate. For example, as I explained these things, if we talk of the old players are here to stay, cyber attacks will cost companies 10.5 trillions annually by 2025. Remember, we're speaking about the future. We saw a rise in the targeted ransomware attacks and phishing, then social engineering, and other methods leading the drive. In the previous statistics, we saw the ransomware and the phishing being the lead. Although these threats have existed for a long time, this trend will continue in 2023 and other subsequent years, 2024, 2025. Look at 10 years, 2033. They will still continue. Companies will experience more targeted system infrastructures, and cybersecurity insurance companies will have to pay more significant sums to restore systems. I'm very much sure, based on research and facts, that in the past and present, very many insurance companies are reaping monies from organizations, okay, because of cybersecurity, cyber attacks. This is going to instead grow. That's why we say the old players are here to stay. Let's look at the next one. Cybersecurity as a service. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, today we have hackers who are there and they are willing to provide a service. Which service? Identify your competitor. If MTN Uganda is competing with Airtel or Africell, let one identify the other as a competitor. Walk into an office of a criminal, cyber criminal, and say, I want you to design for me a phishing kit, a malware, so that we can affect the other company. Cybercrime as a service is on the rise. So cybercrimes as a service is where more experienced cybercriminals offer their service and expertise to the highest bidders.
Hanji.
The highest bidder is that who pays expensively.
Sinachiteka.
These services may include, you look,
Sinachiteka. No, that tell you
after helping you to design, to come up with this, they will even help you to roll it out. These cybercriminals, upon cracking businesses with them, they will even help you to lower the barrier of entry, to infiltrate the other system of your competitor. So by all means, this will stay, even it will become high in the future. That's why I said cybercrime as a service on the rise. The next theme, which is the third theme, new technologies are vulnerable and defenseless. Look at the 5G. Look at us. We've not yet even trained or gained expertise on how to use the 5G. much as in some countries it is what they are using now. But this is going to affect mostly the third world developing countries. However, with limitless connectivity, seamless communication among multiple devices comes with many issues. Look at the Internet of Things. The IoT is Internet of Things. Internet of Things, members, it means any devices. Look at your laptop, look at your iPad, look at your phone, look at your smartwatches, all devices that can connect to the public domain, to the internet network, are called Internet of Things. That is Internet of Things. And as we talk, last year, in 2022, we saw a rise of Internet of Things device hacks. As 5G technology evolved, we will see many more other threats related to Internet of Things, to these devices, powered by 5G technologies. Seeing reports project connected devices to reach an estimate of up to around 40 million by 2025. Let's continue. Automotive and space technology hacks. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yes.
this is also a good one. The automotive industry has benefited from the rapid growth of technology. Today, we have cars with Bluetooth, with Wi-Fi. We have electric cars. We have drones which just charge. Now, at the charging spot is where these hackers target. So the automotive and space is also going to become a big theme to future front cyber attacks this year and other subsequent years coming in the future. The cybersecurity reports indicate a rise in attacks on electric vehicles, charging stations, drones, like I said earlier. The attacks are going to target there mostly. The cyber warfare. Today, very many nations, ladies and gentlemen, are fighting to be superpower. And unless you have a strong cyber security infrastructure, trust me, you cannot be called world superpower. So for countries to have themselves be called we are strong, they are going to, by all means, they are going to influence cyber attacks to other competing countries. You remember the countries I mentioned? USA, China, Russia, France. Look at these countries. They fight here and there to become superpower. And we have seen that in 2022, we witnessed that somebody have
somebody make a drop cap and doing them
voices are coming through.
with 3-column layout with a line in between.
Somebody said Kabega Elias, there's noise coming through.
Insert and make the choice after 1, 2.
Not me.
Can we continue?
Okay.
Mr.
Let's
Moderator,
proceed.
Engineer, can we continue? I beg to be guided so that we can go at the same pace. Mr. Moderator, can we continue?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we were still looking at the rise in the cyber warfare as one of the themes that is going to be at a forefront of most of these cyber crimes. Remember, we said that the themes that we are now discussing are going to be the ones to front cyber crimes. We looked at the cyber warfare. If we go back, automotive and space technology, we looked at others like new technologies and vulnerabilities. We looked at others like cyber as a service, where somebody walks to you and says, do you want to hack his computer? Kindly give me this sum of money and you'll have the computer hacked. That service alone, by all means, we shall have many more hacks continue in that way. And we're still looking at the cyber warfare. and said that in 2022, we witnessed increase in the cyber warfare with tactics ranging from leaked state secrets, leaked credentials, the supply chain attacks, data breach, the industrial hacks, and many more others. Countries like Russia, countries like Ukraine, countries like Iran, countries like Israel, China, and the US were at the forefront of this cyber warfare. While most of these attacks were allegedly state sponsored, that so and so has sponsored this cyber attack, we also saw a series of hacktivism attacks crippling major infrastructures, the supply chain issues, and all limited access to public service. Ladies and gentlemen, hacktivism is where you come up, for example, if you saw the Russia versus Ukraine war, we have hashtags today on Twitter, on social media platforms, that hashtag Russia versus Ukraine, hashtag Russia Ukraine. This is hacktivism. You remember the US Floyd issue, where an agent of the cops in the US police, state police, killed and wrangled a black African Negro called Floyd. If you remember that issue that went viral, and then members came up with a hashtag that hash Floyd, hash Black Lives Matter, Arab Spring, etc. These are going to continue for as long as we have the rise in the cyber warfare, rise in cloud infrastructure. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we can't avoid the cloud. All of us can't avoid cloud. Cloud computing adoption reports reveal that 94 of the enterprises used cloud services in 2022. Of the 100, 94 used them. This is a very good response to the changing workforce structure. From on-site to hybrid remote connections, like I explained earlier, working out of your normal workspace, but on phone, on your laptop, you're in the car, you submit a report. Many companies now use cloud-based storage and software to manage employees' productivity, communication, and data across different locations. This is very common. While most companies have set up sophisticated security measures to protect against data breaches, employees across access points are still a very big major loopholes. As more companies move their data and systems to the cloud, they become more vulnerable than even when they would have stayed with their manual databases. But what to do? We have to adapt to the world. More of these attacks will use employees, negligence, and remote workstation tools as access points, leading to massive data leaks and revenue losses. It is very evident that all of you may be working in an organization, but your levels of understanding the use of these systems differs. And that is why a data breach can come from the activities of one employee, because they don't have the expertise. Those are the loops, the access points leading to massive data leaks by employees in many organizations. As you're giving access to somebody, giving privileges. For example, if I'm a systems admin in a certain work environment, but I don't have good expertise, I can easily misconfigure. I can give excess privileges, excess rights to employees to even access databases which have very crucial information. And before you know, you have suffered a breach. Cybersecurity predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, Given a projection of 10 years in future from today, if today is 2023, look at 2033. Cybersecurity in its complete progression shall have taken a proponent growth in its strengths. One can say that with the ongoing growing innovativeness in the attacks, the methods people use to attacks by these cyber criminals, and that now it is becoming a more of a money spinning service for very many cyber criminals and even organizations, even countries, even governments, nations. It is not by mistake, therefore, it is not by mistake that cybersecurity shall leverage and define its direction to business owners. If you're going to have, if I'm a business owner and I know I will have a breach, by all means, there is a way I will behave. Put up a serious infrastructure, security infrastructure. So it will define the direction to owners of businesses, to owners of organizations, to government, states, to agencies, to defense and aerospace, to mention. That is the prediction in the future that you and I can make as a whole. What is cybersecurity challenges of the future? Our topic now, today. Remember, we have looked at a clear insight, gained a clear insight of how cybersecurity started, okay? Of how the first antiviruses evolved, how a law on cyber security came into play, which nations are signatories to this law. What were the disturbing cyber crimes then, today, and now the future? How the hell is it going to look like? Cyber security challenges of the future. Challenge number one, emerging 5G applications. Challenge number two, let's first look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, the 5th generation network is an advanced wireless technology that comprises of an all-inclusive ecosystem of radio frequencies, data exchanges, and technical communications. It claims actually to transmit data and communications 3 times than the 4G that we were using. Some of us are still using the 4G. So the 5G is 3 times faster than the 4G. I want us to look at this as a future cybersecurity challenge. A 5G, 5th generation cybersecurity toolbox solution, a kit, offers improved network security. This one has no doubt, all of us know that its network security is improved through international mobile subscriber numbers and encryption, end-to-end encryption, etc. Additionally, all traffic, the data flowing on 5G network is encrypted, it is integrated, it is protected, and it follows, by the way, if I don't forget, the mutual authentication policies to ensure maximum data protection. How the hell is it going to become a challenge? It leverages network virtualization, which combines hardware, it combines the software resources into one single entity, and deep packet inspection, what we call the DPI, which carefully inspects data being sent over a network. The DPI analyzes every behavior. It is like a firewall inbuilt with packet sniffing firewalls, which packets are moving onto this public domain, which network. Stratified firewalls, all inbuilt into the 5G. ETC. But you realize that there is no doubt, therefore, that the 5G cybersecurity can provide a better protection against cybersecurity criminals. However, the emphasis is here. Early implementers, we need to take note of this, by the way. There are countries which have moved 5G. Others are still struggling. But the ones which have moved already and are implementing it, we should use them, okay, and pilot on what they are doing to have better implementation strategies. For instance, the early implementers need to spend more on conducting thorough analysis, because Internet of Things being a bigger challenge that cyber security faces, there is no doubt today, ladies and gentlemen, that challenge may push far as compared to that even of 4G. Remember, we said that Internet of Things, I want us to understand this, that Internet of Things, all gadgets, call the phones, the smartwatches, the iPads, the tabs, look at all an alignment of all gadgets that can get an IP, that can connect to the internet network. We call all those Internet of Things. So if the 4G has been having challenges with the Internet of Things at 94% of the 100, and that now we are growing very fast, the number of smartphone owners are increasing, laptop owners increasing. It means, therefore, that even with the 5G, there is no question we are going to still have the same challenge come up. Number two, adapting to a remote workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, remote working is the ability of authorized personnel to access computers and networks from a different geographical distance location away from their normal place of work, like what I've been talking about. Through a network connection, employees to access sensitive data, you can imagine, and communicate via corporate collaborative apps. Like this one now we are communicating through. People now have Zoom. People have Google Meet. There is a Blue Wave. There is My Desk. There is Ultra Viewer. All these are apps that I can install here, get access to your phone, to your laptop when I'm sitting here. Now that we are adopting to this remote workforce, the three remote gateway, a cloud server, a client software, and a remote gateway are connected to a field equipment in order to remotely access and control them. Remember, we said a client software, the software you install on your laptop to help the other person get access to it, okay, is installed on an engineer's PC. This engineer is in the field and is given access to the server box. He's configuring the server while in the field. The moment we continue using remote and adapting to remote workforce, there is no question, therefore, that it is going to affect us even in the future. Very many cybersecurity crimes are going to crop up. 3, remember, we are looking at cybersecurity challenges of the future. Inadequate training of employees. This is a big challenge everywhere, even to countries that we know that have moved a step ahead. They still have a challenge of inadequate training. Why? Because very many technologies come up every day, and every when a technology is rolled out, you conduct a training, make it work. By virtue of having new technologies, okay, let's give an example of the third world developing nations. A big number adopt technologies that others even, I'm told that Hamoud Telecom in Somalia hires Chinese to be the ones to man security. You can see. The MTN Uganda presently, one of the leading income generating company of the Uganda's revenue, hires Indians. They're Indians who are manning their network. It means that there is inadequacy in all the gaps by their own organization employees. So when we continue having these gaps, if you don't empower these employees and you continue having gaps, the looks, we are likely to suffer and suffer more cyber security challenges in the future and today. Number 4, artificial intelligence in cybersecurity. It is an anticipated challenge also. AI systems can be difficult to understand and interpret by just a mere person. It makes it so challenging to understand how and why decisions are being made. Now, supposing you are there and you have artificial intelligence installed, maybe a robot manning your security, programmed to do everything. You are seeing it as a person taking decisions, but you are not aware of where this robot is getting decisions. How is it drawing context? Why has it decided like this? So all of this, where decisions related to identifying and responding to cyber threats may have serious consequences. Cyber criminals will use artificial intelligence. They must use artificial intelligence to create more sophisticated and difficult ways to be detected. And we shall suffer more and more attacks. Okay? Let's continue. If you look at, I'm told I have 30 minutes left. That's okay. Thank you, Engineer Moomin. If you look at, weaponizing of legitimate tools as another one, using something deliberately to inflict harm on the people is to weaponize. When governments weaponize something, they take an ordinary object and turn it into a weapon. An example of weaponizing a cyber vulnerability is use of, now this kind of virus, the one we call the Stuxnet virus. This was the best ever. Let me tell you how this worked. Government X, people say it is the USA government. That's what news said. That's why I called it Government X. As an actor, was used successfully to disable uranium processing equipment in an Iranian processing facility. They used a virus which they called Stuxnet. Okay? A Stuxnet was a powerful computer worm designed by the US and Israel. Intelligent, it was very intelligent to go and disable the Iranian nuclear program in their manufactories. This is likely to be a challenge even in the future, because you see countries saying, I am superpower. Another one comes up and says, it is me. They are claiming this now. One has to make sure they claim supremacy than the other. Number 6, cloud vulnerabilities. Cloud services rely heavily on API, this application program interface, to communicate with applications. It may seem like neat, or it is a very good tool. But these APIs the application program interfaces are the most prone cyber attacks that hackers can launch their denial of service attack, the DOS attack. Okay? They can intend to inject their codes, and before you know, they hold you ransom. Number 7, insufficient command over cyber risk management. According to Falco and others, this is a book. Poor cyber security risk management can allow systems to be infected by ransomware. This malware encrypts files that prevents the original owner from accessing them. Organizations lack a workforce that can command a good knowledge on cyber. This is true. Very many organizations have cyber teams, security teams. They don't. And because that is happening, we are going to still have cyber attacks. So one of the challenges is insufficient commands over cyber security or risk management. Cloud vulnerabilities, like we explained before. The fact that cloud services are outsourced. If I want to host my website, I go VivaCell, host my website. If I want to host my site, I look for a host company. This fact that cloud services are outsourced, many organizations do not differentiate when cloud service providers, the CSP is cloud service provider. Many don't differentiate responsibilities of the cloud service provider, where they end and where their own start. Okay, and that's why we've had numerous data breaches, we've had misconfiguration, we've had lack of cloud architecture strategies, we've had insufficient credentials, insufficiency in credentials and key management. We've had insider threats, etc. Now, it is important to understand that the cyber risk management process is in 4: identifying cyber risks, etc. Like you'll be reading. We are caught up by time. I'm trying to go very fast. Okay. Number 8, configuration mistakes. Standards in technology of use between migrating from 4G to 5G is likely to pose misconfiguration mistakes. And cyber criminals are always on a lookout. Slight mistakes, you erroneously pay. Then there is more issues with wrong configurations. When you configure a database wrongly, like you can look at that database, wrongly configured, before this person, there was a breach. Data was being taken out of the laptop. So the double standards in knowing to use these systems is also going to cause an issue. The growing insurance requirements is also going to be an issue. You look at insuring your company, they're asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you look at working with this simple other, cyber security expert who is ill experienced, and then you will say, instead of paying expensively to the insurance, let me work with this one. So those insurance requirements, we are going to have a lot of cybersecurity attacks in the future. Let's continue. Businesses must use central patch management, okay, and server management to ensure critical updates are applied in time. All these come at a cost. For example, what are we saying comes at a cost? If we are going to employ employees to work on cyber, to do training, if we're going to buy updated hardware devices, software and antiviruses, that is a cost. If we are also going to have central business management, patches, All these come at a cost, okay, which most of the organizations are not willing to incur. What do you expect? We must have attacks. Number 10, the insider attack. While most challenges of information or cybersecurity are external for businesses, there can be an instance in the insider where employees with malicious intent can leak or export data. When I was working with MTN Uganda in 2012, 2013, 2011, gentlemen did not use to benefit more from the salary. We used to benefit more from somebody asks you for a printout. You smuggle company data outside. Somebody says, my wife does this and this. Can I get his audio, how he communicates on his phone? And you smuggle them outside. Gentlemen used to do this. The insider attacks and threats. These ones are going to be very, 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 very many. Look at the instance where we had Airtel Uganda and MTN Uganda coming up with new services. Airtel moved and went and convinced engineers of MTN Uganda, increased their salaries, their remunerations, and stole all of them to Airtel Uganda. By that time, it was called Warid Telecom. Up to today, it is a renowned telecom company with an Indian origin, but flourishing in the Ugandan market. Why? The incident they did to get knowledge of engineers of their competitors to themselves, the insider attack. This is going to be common even in the next years to come. Outdated hardware. There are organizations out there which are still using Pentium 4 computers. And they're still using, and they are very okay with it. 3G and 4G, trying to suffer using Cat 5, Cat 4, Cat 3 networking cables, using routers and switches, which are not 100 stroke 10, 10 stroke 100 Mbps. They are there. And by all means, expect that when you use these outdated hardwares, you give cyber criminals a very good pathway to attacking you. Avoid policies. Again, this one is going to be common in African developing world countries. BYOD is bring your own devices. You see, most organizations say that they don't have enough to cater for each of the employees, give them a device at their work desk. And they give employees liberty and peace, that you can bring your own laptop. We shall give you this and this. We shall give you data. We shall use your own. Now, you realize that most company or organization databases, networks are managed by this human being, but on his laptop, not for a company. He can wake up one day and walk away and go. And these people will remain nation. This is common in organizations still growing, the small media enterprises still growing. And so it is going to pose a bigger challenge. Secondly, these devices make it easier to access your private network. If there is security, theirs must be compromised first, even before the organization. But they have access to an organization network. So anything is possible. Number 13, the blockchain and cryptocurrency. You have heard, you have been hearing, even up to today, the time is coming when we shall not have physical money, but we shall have a blockchain with cryptocurrency. A blockchain is just a block, like you hear the word block. Okay? The cryptocurrency is monies, but encrypted. Cryptocurrency comes from encryption of money. So you encrypt money and put it on a blockchain on your card, etc. And when somebody is going to use, you allow access to selected computers, few people. Of course, a phone can be called a computer. To selected computers who can record, they can share, they can view, they can traditionally check data, they can etc. So cryptocurrency and blockchain is going to be a very big challenge in the future. Very huge. Number 14, increased Internet of Things. Many devices today are on a network. One day, I went in town to withdraw money. I don't know which year it was. And I told the lady, I want to withdraw mobile money from my phone. Was I depositing, withdrawing? One of the two. And they said, read the number. I read the number. And the lady continued on her watch. Now, I was confused. I told her, I'm reading you the number, but you are busy on the watch. What's up? What's going on? The lady told me, no, I'm trying to do a transaction here. I said, what? Internet of Things. The number of devices that connect subsequently to the public domain, to a network, are going to become a very big challenge and a loophole to cybersecurity. And I want you to see that distribution of services is going to change. Number 15, ransomwares will limit users from accessing their systems. A ransom, I explained the ransom in the earlier, where somebody gets something from you and says, I'm demanding this amount of money to release it. Computer systems will be held at ransom. Data will be encrypted, and criminal attackers will demand for a ransom in turn. It is going to be very common. Number 16, poor cyber hygiene, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, misplaced data is common. You can have your laptop like this or your phone with a lot of files, but you cannot search and get files from there. Then you begin asking, where did I save? How did I save this? Oh, I don't remember. How did I save? But you have it saved there. That is poor cyber hygiene. You have data and information, but it is scattered, not programmed. This is going to be a very good point for a hacker to make you lose that data. How do we ensure good hygiene? Step number 1 is there. Have good antivirus. Use good network firewalls. Update your software. Have your good passwords. People forget passwords. This is the cyber hygiene I'm talking about. Multi-factor authentication, employee device encryption, backup regularly. People have lost data, not because they don't have. It is there, but they can't access it. This is poor hygiene of data. Keep your hard drives clean. Somebody saves on a hard disk drive up to when it begins spitting back data and telling the person, I am full, don't add information. And before you know, it stops working. It crashes its sectors. Why? There is no more working space, no working memory. So, cyber hygiene. Others may include, because of time, there are very many. Misuse of Internet of Things, mishandling patches, third-party vulnerabilities, social engineering, third-party exposure, cloud vulnerabilities, mobile device vulnerabilities, Okay, a question has come that how can we control ourselves from the insider attack, man in the middle? I'm going to explain this. Thank you for the question. Mobile devices, to mention but a few. They are very, very many, ladies and gentlemen. Now, preparation for future security. How really do you think we can prepare for the future? One, emerging cyber threats in the companies should take a multi-layered approach of security. Multi-layered, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain it this way. If I'm working for an organization like Nile University, like Green Hope University, and we have access controls, a multi-layered, if I entered the gate and the physical security guards have checked me, that is one security control. If I'm going to enter the premise, the building, and I have an access control possessed gadget, a card that I have to flash on a possessed object to give me access. That's the second authentication. The third, if I'm going to enter office, I have to use a thumb for my biometric devices to also open the door. That is the third one. This is multi-layered approach to security. So to prepare for the future cybersecurity threats, install multi-layered approaches. Even with computers, you can have thumbs, which is biometric. You can have passwords. You can have call ringback systems. It all works. Ensure both physical and logical access in the organization. Physical access is the protection, the guards. Logical is use of the systems. Conducting regular risk assessment and vulnerabilities in the systems. Check your systems regularly for risks. Okay? You can conduct hackings, what we call ethical hacking, a non-hacking. Invite somebody, tell them to help you hack into your system and see. If they fail, then you know I have a strong one. If they hack into, how can I fix that loophole? Implementing a robust security measure, such as encryption, the firewalls, the multi-factor authentication, etc. Regular updating of software. Avoid using long-time obsolete, tattered softwares. Use patches and have them updated. And then you can provide regular trainings to the employees. Somebody is saying, how the hell can we have the man in the middle, the insider mitigated? How? There are many ways. One, train them. Two, pay them up to what they really feel. You see, today in Africa, very many companies pay peanuts to employees. They must find other sources of income. Okay? Three, integrity. Preach integrity to them. Have frequent trainings and let them be highly integral. So we can fight the man in the insider. As I conclude, like I said, conduct penetration tests, implement disaster recovery plans, consider cyber insurance, etc., etc., and etc. Ladies and gentlemen, what are the best practices of cyber? Establish a robust security policy. Secure your premise or your perimeter, the connections, the Internet of Things. You can also make sure you secure it. Employ people, what we call people-centric security approaches. You can control access of sensitive data, like when you're giving privileges to servers, the firewalls, you control access. You can manage passwords. The system's admin can manage passwords, limit privileges to sensitive data points, monitor activities and privileges of third-party users. If I'm MTN Uganda and I have subscribers, how are they reaching my sites, my demilitarized zones, what we call the DMZs in information security? How are they accessing it? All these can make sure that we have best practices. My words of wisdom as I conclude. Somebody's telling me you have 10 minutes. That is fine. My words of wisdom. Pay attention and listen to this. The value of any confidential information. Ladies and gentlemen, companies listening out there, organizations listening, if you value information, limit access to that information. That is my word of wisdom, of advice. The value of any confidential information depends on limiting its access. Number two, the greatest risk to cybersecurity is always an insider force. Like I told you earlier. Please, I have a presentation. Can I continue, please, as I conclude, Mr. Moomin?
Yes, please finalize.
Okay, thank you very much. I was on the point of the words of wisdom to organizations out there watching, to members, to cybersecurity experts. I said that my first word of wisdom, if you value data that you can deploy, whether you are CIA Secret Service of America, whether you are China, whether you are Iran, whether you are, these ones we look up to, any security control you deploy, there must be a countermeasure. Whether you deploy anything, there must be a measure to counter it. And therefore, we need to have evolving technology. Lastly, the success of any automated information system is dependent on a manual one. In conclusion, if CIA, this is the Secret Service of the US, can be hacked, anyone can. And any security expert worth his or her credentials will tell you that there is no such a thing that I am 100% secure. That one is not there. You cannot be 100% secure. This implies to the digital or physical world, the stolen I don't know whether somebody has read this before. When we had the elections of USA, when Trump was running against Hillary Clinton, a human being stole a laptop of a CIA agent. You can imagine. It had secrets to do with the Trump Towers. It had secrets of Hillary Clinton emails, etc. So if somebody can reach an extent of doing that, there is nothing like saying, I am 100% secure. Fortunately, there are many solutions in the market out there. Please, let's explore them so that we can have the best. Remember, it is supposed to be hard. But what to do, you have nothing to do. We have never to give up. That is how I can conclude telling you that never do what? Never give up. Cyber is broad, it is very big. I remain people call me Kada. I am also known as others call me ICT demigod. I found this a name being given to me by learners. ICT demigod. Because every time I would tell them that this is coming in your end of year exams, it would come. So they said, this one is a demigod. As I close, I want to wish you what you wish yourself. Thank you for your time.
You are most welcome. We thank you so much for the tremendous and marvelous knowledge that you have shared with the world. And we have been having comments from all sides of the world. Very many thanks from different people here on Facebook and YouTube as well. They thank you. They have understood whatever you've been giving across, and they have said we need much from him. This is not only we need much. So possibly, Professor, we not only this cybersecurity for the cybersecurity challenges of the future, you have to also prepare for us some other delicious cake for us, so that we have to get much knowledge on this world that is digitally functioning. Thank you so much, all the viewers around the world. We thank you all for coming in, and we wish you all the best. Nile University of Science and Technology is the excellent future. Thank you so much.
When I'm talking to the world, senior one, you're not serious. Good enough, I finished.